Hi everyone, welcome to Michelin King. We've put a new voiceover on this video guys because the microphone just was not playing games with us the last time. So basically this video just goes through our brand new high Carnauba, or the highest Carnauba car wax that we have made to date. It's a 72% T1. Product name is Ameliorate. You'll find it on the website just now. It's a fresh fruit fragrance and it's also an Aqua Colour. Now in this video, slightly different to others that we've done recently, is I'm going to give you a look at the new DeWalt dual action polisher that we've just picked up. I'll use it in this video to not only apply pure but also our sealant as well, so it makes really light work of things like pre-wax cleaners, sealants, and you can even apply car waxes with this as well. The most important thing with your dual action is mainly your speed, your pressure, and also, most importantly in my mind, is your choice of pad. Your choice of pad, depending on manufacturer, can really make or break your detailing. I would always advise you to go with a well-known manufacturer, someone that's been around for a while, and also if you can, get a few pads in your hand, a few different brands, and feel the difference with the sponges, the texture of them as well. I tend to, as you can see, the pad that we are favouring today is the white. Typically white would be, in most cases, is just simply a polishing pad. So you can get, obviously nowadays it's growing arms and legs. So in the old days you used to get a cutting pad and a polishing pad and also a wool as well, typically for your rotary stuff. Now with the dual action you could easily build up 5 or 6 different foam pads, also your microfiber pads, and if you so wish the wool. Now the wool is really better designed for the rotary just simply because wool is typically used to keep the panel cooler, which your flip side of that with a dual action would be the microfiber. So it's got it's got good cutting ability, but it finishes down really well. So what we're going to do is we'll start the process now. I'm going to start with pure, just give the product a good shake before you use it, and then obviously take the twist top cap and just unscrew it all the way. Sometimes if you stop short the product won't come out, just simply because it's still sealed, so just make sure that you're taking that twist cap all the way out. So pure is a paint cleaner, and what it does, just exactly like it sounds, it cleans your paint, so it will get rid of things like ingrained dirt, organic fallout, that type of stuff. Obviously you want to decon the paint before this stage, so you could turn to our clay bar, the iron fallout remover. But what the pure does is it removes everything else that's on the paint. What you can see me doing there, I'm just using a litre bottle of Quick Detailer there, one of our products, one of our best sellers, and I'm just using that to prime the foam pad. One of the things that you don't want to do is don't put a dry pad onto your paintwork. That's the quickest way that you can damage your paint. Now this is Jaguar paint, so it's on the medium soft side. I actually quite like the paint because I can correct it with a dual action quite easily. Sometimes the harder paints like your BMWs, your Mercedes, even though they will correct with a dual action, for me I prefer the rotary. I just find I get the job done faster, and also it finishes down nice as well. So in terms of the dual action, it's arguably, with the movement, it's arguably the finest finishing polisher that's available. However, if you are used to handling a rotary, you can typically finish a rotary down just as well. Again, the thing that blights most rotary users or beginners would be your trail marks, but you do overcome that in time. So what we're doing here is we're just dabbing the product onto the panel so that we're picking up new product as we go, and we're not pushing any dry product across the paint, because again, once the polish dries it does become abrasive, so that's the last thing you want to do. And Pure is not a product that really needs to be worked into the paint, you're really just spreading it, just adding enough pressure that the pad ever so slightly decompresses, but not so much that you've pushed the pad in. So what we're doing here, I've applied the Pure, that's as quick as it takes, but you can obviously work it for a few minutes, and that will also benefit the paint as well, because what you're doing is you're just breaking down those organic product signs like tree sap and whatever else maybe has now become crystallised or is really past the point of a D standards at a degreaser. So Pure is just a slightly heavier duty, and it does have micro abrasives in there as well, not so much that you know, it'll take out heavy duty swirl marks, but it will make quite a difference to your paint. The biggest thing that I notice with Pure, or what Pure does to paint, is the amount of gloss that it gives your paint. So what we're going to do here, guys, we're just going to go in for a second hit. As you can see, I've let that first, I should have said, so the first panel here, I'm just going to let that cure. So the longer you leave it to cure, the better the cleaning ability is, because it's breaking down all of that grime. Pure also has a slight amount of protective property to it as well. So it's that was me nearly getting hit by a delivery van there. And we're just spreading this over the paint nice and thin, and as you can see, that amount that I put onto the pad is enough for 2 full doors. Bearing in mind this is for the UK anyway, it's a medium to big sized car, we don't have a lot of big cars. So there's your result on the pad straight away. You can see how much dirt, that's a bright white pad, it's now become brown. Pure is purple, so it's not actually the product, it's the dirt that's coming off those panels. And again, you will get that by applying it by hand, but you'll just intensify the product, so to speak, when you use it by machine, and it'll make the job so much easier. Obviously, if you do have a smaller car, there probably won't be a huge amount of time saving, but if you are up to your saloons and 4x4s and stuff like that, definitely get your hands on one of these dual actions. They really do save quite a bit of time. You can go corded as well, it's just we went cordless simply because our power point is about 5 or 6 metres away from where the car is parked in the car park. So again, Pure's not a fussy product. You ideally want to leave it until it's hazed, and at that point you know it's ready to come off, and it's an absolutely phenomenal product when you're removing it. It's really easy to remove, but what you see is that instant gloss. There's really nothing like it that I've ever tried before. What we'll do is we'll get a closer look. As you can see, we'll move the tripod in. So what I've spotted here is there's what I can only describe as a scuff, so possibly a hedgerow or something like this. And what I'm actually going to do here is just soften the edges with Pure, so it shows you how versatile this product is. So not only will it clean your paint, it will also reduce wash marring and very slight squirrels, and also, as you can see on this occasion, the scuff as well. This was originally a live video, guys, so it's only filmed at 720p, so I'm aware that the quality of the resolution, so to speak, isn't wonderful. Now, the process, what I was doing there when I'm going north and south, up and down, is I am simply just trying to take the edges off, so I'm just trying to smooth the scuff here. I'm not catching it with my nail, so it's not really through to the clear, so to speak, or through the clear, but it is visible. And what I'm finding is because it's scuffed enough, so to speak. Right guys, so as I said there, all I was doing, I'm working that machine up and down just to try and get into the scuff. I also want to clean the scuff. What I always do when I spot a scratch in a car is I kind of treat it like an open wound on your skin. So the first thing you want to do is you want to clean the area with either rubbing alcohol or some kind of degreaser, because you want to get any of the stuff that's in that scratch out, so that when you're polishing it, all you're doing is you're polishing the paint rather than any grime or anything that's stuck in. And what I find is if you change direction of the machine as well, you're just getting into that scratch as much as possible. So whether it's up and down, left and right, or you'll also sometimes see me actually use the machine diagonally, so in a crisscross fashion as well. I'm not too fussed about that with a dual action because you're not really able to do damage. With a rotary, you need to be much more careful with the way that you use it. I'm really forcing the dual action at this point to do what I want it to do, whereas a rotary is more so let the tool do the job. Again, it's just because obviously dual actions have much less power, much less cutting power, which is why they take much longer to cut an area. But they're absolutely fine for the majority of paints. It's just when you deal with a harder paint, you will find that it takes slightly longer. But again, that boils down to your pad choice and your polish as well. One of the things that I would say, guys, is if you are wanting to machine polish your paint, I typically use, and obviously it's within our lineup, but I typically use water-based polishes simply because the oil or silicone-based polishes really hide a lot of things. So you don't really know where you are until you're finished, so it can be quite frustrating that you think you've got perfect paint and then next time you wash it you see all these wash marring and such like coming back. I'm aware that you can use rubbing alcohol or IPA etc, panel wipe, but that's not really something I want to be doing constantly. I want to be able to know where I am as I'm working, and in my mind everyone's got their own opinion on this, but in my mind it's a much more straightforward way to work rather than having to stop, wipe a panel etc. You can actually see what you're doing as you go on, and it's also, and for me it's a much safer approach because you get a much better idea of how much you've removed. Obviously guys, if you are doing this, paint depth gauge is an absolute must, and if you are working on somebody else's car, make sure that you are insured, because the last thing you want is a full repaint or body shops are not cheap nowadays. Gone are the days of £50 and £100, showing my age a bit here. And being able to pick up scrap panels and stuff easily. Things are just very different now. So if you are polishing other people's paint, just make sure that you've got the right insurance in place. And also personal protection stuff as well. If you're polishing, bearing in mind most polishes have aluminium oxide, so face mask wouldn't go amiss, and obviously eye protection as well. I probably could have worn that in the video because I'm doing it live and we've got the microphone hooked up and whatnot, but if I knew I was going to do the voiceover after, then I probably would. Just because we use chemicals all the time, then I'm probably exposed to a lot more stuff than most people. So yeah, the face masks, the gloves, all that type of stuff, it's important. We want to live a long life after all, get lots of detailing underway. So as you can see, just allowing that pure to fully cure. Now, I would estimate, I can't see it properly on the screen that I'm dealing with at the moment guys, but I would estimate pure would be completely cured within 3 or 4 minutes, just because we're doing the live video. Obviously we're covering a few different topics. So what I'm going to do here is I'll go for our Olympian cloth. So this is our wax and polish removal, our wax and sealant removal cloth, depending what product you're using. It's double-sided, or dual sided, so you've got a slightly tighter nap on one side and then a deeper, more plush nap on the other. The tighter nap I would use for waxes, and the more plush I would use for sealants. So as you can see, the haziness just at the door handle there, that's not a reflection, that is the haziness of the product. And as you can see, it is a dream to remove. There's absolutely no heavy buffing or whatever needed to remove this product. It's just so easy to use, and the finish it gives is second to none. So much so that you can see where the factory gate hit the driver door just a few months after I got the car, so that was a nice gift. But c'est la vie. And that's one of the important things I would say, guys, is a lot of our customers remark on the fact that the car's detailed outside, it's not in a studio. But one of the things I would say is the majority of our customers, they are working outside. Our professionals as well, if they're mobile, they're also working outside. So the reality of the situation here is most people are using products, detailing products outside. So you will get, we've got a lot of overhanging trees, so you will get bits and pieces, especially in the summer when the birds are moving about. You will get bits and pieces fall onto the car. It's just all part of detailing. And just keeping a watchful eye, also keeping your ears open to anything dropping on the car and just removing it as quickly as possible. But as I said, working outside, it gives you more of a reality touch. But the thing that I always say is, if the products look this good on this type of paint, bearing in mind that the car's really a test bed for everything that we sell and manufacture, it'll look absolutely phenomenal on your own paint. Most of your cars look absolutely phenomenal. They're very well looked after. This car, on the other hand, we'll purposely not wash it for maybe a month at a time so that we can try out new pre-washes, snow foams. We'll not wash the alloys for maybe 3 or 4 months just to let that stuff really build up. Just to test a product, so just to give it some extreme testing. So yeah, that's the thing I would say is, if you find that you think the product looks really good in our car, wait until you try it on your own. This car, for instance, has not been machine polished in the 1.5 years that I've owned it. That's the first time that I've turned a DA to the paint, and trust me, the paint has not been well looked after from the previous owner. I think it's been a lot of coin operated washes and such, like a lot of brushes and that type of thing. It's absolutely covered in swirls. But again, it makes a great test bed because we can try out the new polishes. For instance, the number 3 polish that we've just brought out, that was tried on this exact car, and the results were absolutely great. Again, it's just more of a realistic look at things for us. So what I'm going to do here is just try and show you as best I can that this scratch has been pretty much obliterated by just using pure on its own. So it is slightly abrasive, but the abrasives are mainly there to tackle the baked on grime and such like. It's not really there for things like this, but I just thought I'd give it a go since I had the dual action and we had the pure anyway. Typically you'd use a product called number 1, which is our finest polish for just light scuffs, wash marring and things like that. Also, it's a great product if you like to dual your polish. Give that a go as well. So hopefully you can see, and you can see that lovely dent just under the mirror there. But as I said, we like to keep things normal and realistic, and I'm aware that not everyone's car is kept in the garage. We're lucky enough to have a lot of car collectors that use our products, but we also have a phenomenal amount of customers that detail their cars on the driveway, on busy streets, etc. Just like myself, we live quite close to the city, so and right under we have the planes, just like at Heathrow. We have the planes going overhead, both at the house and also The airport, if you can see where my hat is, the airport is just to the right, sort of behind those houses by maybe, I don't know, 400 or 500 yards is literally where the runway is. So sometimes in the videos you'll hear helicopters, and there's a flight club there as well, so you'll hear the sort of smaller Cessna jets and things like that, the private jets going over as well. That was, I just wanted to show you there, that was one of our products, rins. I'd put the rins on the car the week before, so just to show you some of the beading, and unfortunately the rain has come on as it does. Right guys, well, the rain's decided to go off, and as you can see I've got a matching yellow DeWalt pad for this next stage. So this is Titan. The cloth, just for anyone interested, the cloth that's sitting on the bonnet is our drying cloth. It's a cloth called Highlander. Being a Scottish company, then we just thought we'd do a wee bit of Scots. We do seem to be all over the world now, so well-travelled people. So as you can see with the Titan, this is just a sealant, so really easy to apply, and I think I'll just apply it to the full side of the car. Again, similar to Pure, what you want to do is let it cure for a few minutes until it starts to haze over. And what I'm also doing there is I'm just turning down the speed of the machine. On that machine, which I really like, they've actually got the RPM on the dial, so it's not a 1, 2, 3. You can actually see your speed, or you can read the speed on the dial. If I could see speed, I would be a billionaire by now. So all we're going to do now, as you see, just dot it over the paint so that I'm picking up new polish as I go. So just keep your pad flat on the paint when you start the machine. Don't start the machine off the paint, always start the machine when it's on the paint. If you start it when it's off, then obviously the product will splatter, so just always make sure that the pad's nice and flat. Now as you can see, there's not really a method to applying the sealant. I'm just spreading the product. You're not having to work it. I'm not really doing 50-50, you know, 50% passes, anything like that. I'm just making sure that the product is evenly distributed along the paint. And also on this clip I was just trying to see how quickly I could apply the product. So as you can see, it's on very, very fast, and all we'll do now is we'll just wait a few minutes to remove Titan and see the final look. So Titan is our show car high gloss sealant. You can apply it via dual action, you can apply it via orbital or any of these other handheld machines. I wouldn't use it on a rotary just simply because rotaries are really designed for corrective work. So for sealants you're really looking at your dual action or your orbital sort of sanding machines, that type of thing. Just make sure you take the sandpaper off. So as you can see, that's already curing quite nicely. The sun's actually on the other side of the car, so it doesn't even need to be particularly warm for this product to work its magic. And again, what we'll do is use one of the Olympian cloths as well. So there we go, double-sided. I've taken a pad up with it as well. It just doesn't want to be left out, obviously. With Titan, when you remove it, what you'll instantly see, and how easy this is to remove, but what you'll instantly see is the level of gloss. The level of gloss from this stuff is just incredible. That's the feedback that we get so often, is when people apply it, obviously you get that hazy finish, so that probably even emphasises the shine even more. If I'm looking for a product that I've not got a lot of time and I want to get the highest gloss finish possible in as short a time as possible, I'll whip out the dual action, I'll get the bottle of Titan, coat the whole car, and as you've seen there, the two panels there just took a few minutes. So if you multiply that by probably about 3 or 4, you're less than 10 minutes to coat the whole car. Just bearing in mind it is a show car sealant, so durability isn't really its strong point, but if you're looking for an out and out high gloss shine, then certainly Titan is the way to go. So just remove it pretty much the same way you applied it, just straight lines. You want to break the coating first, essentially breaking its back, and then you're just going for that high polish buffing. There you go. I'm always amazed by this product. I think we're so used to products that look as good as this are mostly much more difficult to use. Don't worry guys, I didn't drop that on the floor, I just threw it in the grey bucket that's just out of shot, just in case you think I'm being a bit haphazard there. And that's it, you know, that's the beauty of the product. So what we're going to look at just finally would be Ameliorate. So Ameliorate, as I said, it's our highest T1 Carnauba Car Wax to date. It's a whopping 72%, but it's still buttery soft. It's still really nice to use. We've put some nice oils in there as well. And as you can see, I'm just changing this about. You can see I've missed a spot just below the bump line. It's really difficult, guys, to do all of this. Luckily, now we've got a proper social media manager, but yeah, it's very difficult to do all of this on your own, but hopefully you see, I mean, just if you look at the wetness, the shine, that's what I would say Titan gives you. It's the wet shine, so it's a really, really nice show car look that it gives. And there's the grey bucket and the cloth safely in its place. And it would look even better in the sun as well. Obviously, by the point that we've started this video, the sun's nipped behind the clouds, so it's just incredible. It makes the car look better than new every single time I use it. It's so easy to use. So if you've not tried Titan, I would definitely give it a go. Make sure you use pure beforehand, because you want to get rid of the ingrained dirt, the grime and things like that. So that's I'm just showing you the depth here, sorry. So the depth of the shine, as you can see, the fence is probably 8 to 10 metres away, and you can see how, with great clarity in the paint as well. So we'll just stick you back on to the tripod and move you around a little bit. And what we're going to do now is go for our Ameliorate. So it's nice and easy to use, guys. I know it's a high T1, and what you can do, I tend to just use the foam pad, but if you want to use the dual action, you can just put some on your fingernail and then spread it across the pad. Obviously use quick detailer so that you've got a nice lubricated surface, but if you put the wax onto the pad, then it will spread nicely as well. The other thing that you can do is, I've seen quite a few of our customers, I used to do it myself, is you can apply this wax with your bare hands as well. So if that interests you at all, if that's what you fancy doing, then you can obviously do that with this wax. So I'm just going to use the red pad, Carmine, and give it a spray. As you can see, it's just a mist with quick detailer. When you're applying any Carnauba wax, don't put the wax over the full pad, because that will lead to over application and wasting product. What you want to do is apply about a quarter of the wax to the pad, and again I'm just showing you there, keeping a good distance between the quick detailer and the pad so that you don't saturate the pad with product, because at the end of the day you just want to lubricate it. You don't want the pad to be wet, because that will impede the wax won't look as good, it won't last as long, and there's a chance that the wax won't actually cure just as well. So a nice dark colour, and that is the natural colour, that's just the Carnauba flake. There is no such thing as white Carnauba, it's simply T1. So T1 is the highest grade Carnauba that you can get. There is no such thing as white, it's not white in colour, it's more of a yellow, almost like the Highlander, but obviously once you cook it, so to speak, then it does darken down, and we've got some oils in there that are slightly darker as well, so that's just a natural colour. When I'm making a wax of this quality, I really shy away from putting any colourants or fragrances in there, especially within the luxury waxes like Ranach and Elegance, simply because the colourants are typically made up of other chemicals that, for me, they don't actually add anything to the paint. They're taking up valuable space. It's kind of, think of it like this: if you're in A&E and every chair is taken, and you suddenly see 5 people that have got a tiny cut on the tip of their finger that they could easily put a plaster on, but they're taking up valuable seats within A&E. That's exactly, in my mind, what colours and fragrances are doing in luxury waxes, and which is why we shy away from them so much in our luxury blend. It's just simply because they're taking up valuable space that could have really nice oils or waxes or other ingredients that are actually active and are doing a job. So this is why when we make special waxes like this, you'll typically see we won't colour them, just simply because of the amount of colouring. And I know some people, obviously some people that make waxes might watch this video and say, oh well, there's so little colour in there, but my thoughts are, why put it in at all? You know, if I can replace that with a very tiny amount of something else, it's much higher value. So if we can take those 4 or 5 people out of A&E and replace them with people that have all got I don't know, a broken leg, then that's valuable space, because you can only get treated in A&E for that. So that's my thing for today. But as you can see, it's really easy to apply. Even though it's a 72% T1 wax, it spreads on the paint beautifully. I've made it so that it's nice and buttery and soft, and obviously those of you that are new to the company, or this maybe seeing us make the video for the first time, we make all of our waxes in-house, so they're not made by anyone else, and the recipes for every single wax is unique as well. There is a batch of waxes right at the very beginning of our range where they are more similar as well. They're petrochemical waxes and they are more similar, but once you start to move up the range, even from Azure upwards for instance, every single wax is a completely different blend from that point onwards. They do share some similarities, like they do have Carnauba in them, they sometimes have other waxes that we'll use, but the blend itself will not be a replica, so it won't be the same. And the other thing I would say, guys, is I don't change like 1% just to make it different. I'll actually go to the effort of completely prototyping a brand new wax and to test it, etc. So I won't just, you know, churn out waxes for the sake of it, because we do have customers that have, believe it or not, 50, 60, 70 different waxes. I'm sure there's customers now that have got over 100, because we have been going for quite a long time, made up of prototypes and samples and whatnot that they've got over the years they've collected, because that's what it's all about. It's about having choice, it's about having the right product, it's all about quality. There has never been on this earth a high quality product that doesn't deliver. There could be products that pose as being high quality, but if you buy a truly high quality product, not just something that's perceived as high quality, you'll normally get the value, and it'll normally be that exactly. It will be high quality, and whatever that might mean to you, it might mean a good great water behaviour it might be a high gloss product, but you can rest assured that any of our products that are advertised on the website as being a wet look wax or a show car, that's exactly the attributes and the qualities that these products will have. And as you can see, it's just such a stunning product to use, and I think this will be a really popular one. We have made high T1 waxes before, but nothing at this level before, so I think in the past. So it's certainly, I mean, the beading itself, uniform, spherical, tight beading, exceptionally easy on and off, perfect for metallic and solid paint, 3 to 4 months durability. Each wax is signed and numbered, and there are just a limited edition of 15 available. So get yourself onto the Michelin